This week a car I really have a lot of trouble figuring out. I don't know where it fits in. It's a passenger car in a market that really doesn't exist anymore, not in any significant numbers. It's electric. It's the Kia EV4. I'm not going to spend too much time on the exterior of this car. All of the external videos are the Air and the GT line. It gives you a bit of a contrast to this, which is the middle range. This middle range model still has the Starfield front end, though it looks a little different from the EV6 we had last week. I'm not going to bother showing you the front because there isn't one. For me, it's the side view where this all goes wrong. I really don't like those square wheels at all. To lock and unlock the door, I don't have the key in my pocket, so this won't, but you've got to press this really, look how much you've got to press that in. If I had the key in my pocket, that'd be locking. You pivot from the front, they don't pop out automatically, and you can see in there that that's the emergency key for if you lock yourself out. I will, though, show you the back, which is capacious. Now, I just hit myself getting in because this is a sedan and I'm not frankly used to sedans. This is a little bit on the low side. There's a few things here that I like, but that my passengers didn't much care for. It's the fabric on the door and this hard kind of composite looking thing next to it. I like it, my passengers didn't. One thing I do like is that this is nice and soft. It's all soft, none of it feels hard or nasty. There is a mountain of room in the back with this seat set for me. The USBs are on the front seats. Now that's very Kia, unlike the EV6 last week. And you'll notice this upholstery is genuine fake artificial leather. There's no heating or anything in the back. The front seats are heated though, but not cool because this is the mid-range model. And we've got these kind of mesh headrests, which do give you a little bit more view from the back. You'll notice there's in the front the big SOS button. That's all part of the Kia Connect system, which is part of this CCNC live cockpit thing. No sunroof in this model though, but you can see a big dint here in the front where one would probably go. And oddly, a dint in the front over here where a handle would go, like it does on the other side. But this is the bit that I really do not like. Like the K4, the car that I really wasn't fussed on, have a look at this. There's this odd brow over the back, no doubt for aerodynamics, but it just makes the side profile look really frumpy. Then there's that little odd back window. Then we come down to this hatch looking affair and these really big tail lights. But have a look at this. That's the window. This bit of black is just for decoration. Then you put your hand all the way down here in the muck and you open this tiny little boot. And look at this, the camera's just stuck on the bottom. Like an afterthought, that is the strangest thing I've ever seen. Which makes the boot space very large, but the opening very small. And it is quite deep. You'll see that it's the equivalent of the top of this backpack. I think that's one of the most unattractive rear ends I've ever seen on a car. It looks awful. And I predict it will not do very well. Inside, the quickest of tours is the newest style of dash where the air conditioning is in the middle between the two LCD screens. This can have any number of setups that you like. This one shows CarPlay and so forth. This has wireless CarPlay, thankfully, and we've got some proper physical buttons down here for air conditioning. Down below a whole bunch of USBs and so forth, 12 volt. There's no wireless charger in this car for 60 grand, no wireless charger. Okay. This does have highway assist too, which is, I'll talk about later, but control from up here. These are the audio controls. We've got some programmable buttons here, and another one over here. These are a little bit hard to see at the moment, but there are buttons there. Behind that, we've got another bunch of buttons, an area down below, lots of storage, clever cup holders. You can see one's folded, one's not. A little tray, a trinket tray in front. There's an area here where you put your key if it needs to re-engage itself, or the drive mode buttons up here, and a tiny little center console bin. And I guess you can hit the QR code if you're really terminally curious. There's more of that fabric here on the dash, which I really like. Everything is nice and soft. That's where the heads-up display would probably go if this had one, which it doesn't. Behind, we've got the new style column-mounted gear shifter, on-off button, and park. Plus we've got the normal light stalk up here. And on the other side, excuse the dry steering, is the wipers. The handling, very, very good considering this is just standard suspension. I like this a lot. I can feel Graham Gambold's hands all over it. Performance is average at best, even with the sport button hit. It does add extra pep, but we've only got 150 kilowatts to deal with. So unlike the EV6 last week that nearly ripped my face off, this one, there will be no face ripping done. I do have a few little criticisms though. The wireless CarPlay has been a little bit unreliable. This is another one of the systems that's built over the top of that Android open source project software that I keep complaining about. Kia says they're going to fix the problem by adding an extra Wi-Fi channel. Well, we'll see. Does a whole lot of other weird things as well. I've got iPedal active. One thing I did notice in the brochure is that it says that iPedal stays on. That's the one pedal driving. Most other cars do that. It was only Kia and a couple of other brands that turn the iPedal off, or the one pedal driving off. Some of the other things that you want to restart every single time, you want to push and hold the mute button. That turns off the sound for the overspeed warning, which, as you know, is always wrong. This is telling me I'm in a 60, actually I am in a 60 zone. It's the first time it's been right in a long time. Okay, let's just get around this corner. iPedal is very easy to get used to. It's a subtle feathering of the accelerator pedal that takes you from quite a good speed down to nothing in pretty much no time flat. There's a little nodule that sits up above on top of the steering column, and that's the driver monitoring system. I've turned that off as well. It is far too sensitive. You can see in the top model there's heating and cooling for the seats, but this mid-range model only has seat heating. I think there's quite a few things where they've cut corners for $5,000, because the prices are 49 grand and some change, 59 grand and some change, and 64 grand and some change, plus on roads. For a car that is not especially attractive, not especially fast, doesn't charge especially fast, is really quite behind some of its competitors. The other amazing thing is that this has been released into a market where the competition is still stiff, despite the fact that there's not much in the way of passenger car buyers. The most impressive thing about this car is the price. Now remember, it's in the same league as Tesla Model 3, and I think there's a couple of BYDs and what have you. The most impressive thing is the range. This had, I think it was around 600 kilometers when I picked it up, or thereabouts. Normally that's theoretical. This is a shade over 81 kilowatt hours battery wise, and I thought that was actually pretty decent. Now normally that plummets the second you put the thing into drive and drive off, but in this car I have 262 kilometers left at 44%. 44%, so 2.5 times that, and you'd get, so about 262, 45, 20, I'd have about 630, according to this. That is pretty close to what Kia promises. I mean, you can put that in your pipe and smoke it. And I can see up on the dashboard it's come up as HDA, and that means, and a little set of road markings and arrows either side. That means my automatic lane change will work if the conditions are right. So I've found that system to be really finicky. It chooses when it's going to work and when it doesn't. The ADAS has been a little bit finicky. The lane centering isn't quite as, I'm just going to go over again. Yes, it has signaled that it's going over by itself. It's gone over, it's centered itself. Right, so that lane change was perfect. So it told me it was going to do it, then it did it. There you go. You're wondering why I keep harping on about it, and it's because it works when it feels like it. And it works when it considers the road to be a highway, as I said, and divided, and dual carriageway. It does my head in. There are a couple of really clever things that this Kia does. If it detects that you're using external air, it will close off the external air if you operate your windscreen washers, because it's got fluid in it, which is sniffy. Always a bit late, you still get a bit in. And I've also got it to set to turn off when it comes into a tunnel, which is, I think, a stroke of brilliance. Let's round up the Kia EV4. I don't like the outside shape. I don't mind the front, but I don't like the rear. I think not having a boot instead of a hatch is a daft idea. And I just don't have any more to say on the matter. Inside, nice. Some of my passengers haven't liked the cloth. They didn't like the different materials. They preferred to have one with the other. Now that particular person has an MX-5, newish MX-5. So this lighter interior with all of those different surfaces wasn't to her taste. I think this looks great. I do like these triple displays with the little air conditioning in front. Yes, that is behind the steering wheel, but it's preferable to having the double tap touchscreen. I do like the physical controls. We're starting to get some of those back. I do like the multiple choices of USBs. I do like the fact that this battery seems to be particularly high density, giving me 600 kilometers or thereabouts of range out of 81 kilowatt hours. Charging, the DC charging seemed to be a little bit slow, as did the AC charging. I think that could be upped. The city performance is excellent. It's nice and leisurely. I left it in normal most of the time because that was plenty. It was nice and it was relaxed and it was zen. Now I realise that we're doing just under 100 kilometres an hour now. The cabin is a little bit noisy on this road. Its highway performance has been pretty good, except for yesterday where it didn't recognise the highway as a highway, the M1. So the automatic lane change didn't work, but all of the rest of the ADAS did work. Unlike Tesla, where you don't have any of these features unless you have full self-driving, which is $150 a month. All of this is included. Now you do have, with this CCNC cockpit, you do have over-the-air updates, which means that your car will gradually get smarter, allegedly, over time, and that the local tuning to get the driving right, the steering feels really nice. The materials over the last, let's say, 5 years, Kia interiors have improved out of sight. There were bits of them that used to feel tacky. The top of the dashboard, particularly, in most Kias, felt nasty. This is very classy. Everything feels nice quality. The audio system it's adequate, but I mean, this is a $60,000 car and I would expect a little bit more. The controls are nice and easy. Now that I've gotten used to the stalk mounted gear lever, that's not so bad either. So let's get to the verdict. Would I buy one? I don't think so. I would not buy a passenger car now, I don't think. I would probably get a small SUV for the sake of the hatch. That's all this week from the Kia EV4. I've liked driving it, it's got great range, mediocre power, mediocre charging, everything else is kind of mediocre, and for 60 grand I would expect a little bit more. Would I buy one? No, it's not my kind of car. As always, hit like, leave a comment, and just on the round thing to subscribe.